Shah Rukh Khan has raised the bar for romance for Bollywood audiences, and especially women, that many of us say that he's raised the standard so high that real-life dating is absolute shit. Guys, I'm Tass and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy Shah Rukh Khan month to all those who are celebrating. Jawan released this month, and I'm sure if you're a Shah Rukh Khan fan, you probably watched the film. I think the highlight for me after watching the film was seeing the presence of so many women in this mainstream action film. Women usually have a very insubstantial role in these kinds of films, so it was nice seeing a very strong female presence in this film. I actually watched an interview where Shah Rukh Khan said that the director Atlee approached him for this film. They kind of gave him a premise of the film and said that it's going to be him, Shah Rukh Khan, surrounded by women because he looks his best when he is surrounded by women. I think that plays into what we're going to talk about today. Why do women love Shah Rukh Khan? I've been a fan of Shah Rukh Khan since my childhood. The first time I actually saw him in person was when I was a kid. I never actually met him, but I saw him in person. This was during the time when he was doing the Temptations World Tour, and there were quite a few big Bollywood stars a part of that tour. He was doing promotional events in every city that they were performing in, and I remember going to one of these promotional events and people kind of congregated on one floor and there was a balcony, and Preeti Zinta and Shah Rukh Khan were present that day. They came out on the balcony and the fandom was on another level. Fans started screaming. I remember the person next to me was screaming. I remember thinking, even as a kid, my initial thought when they appeared on this balcony was, they both look exactly the same like they do in films. That was my thought. Distinctly remember that day. That's how significant it was for me. That's my Shah Rukh Khan story, and most people I know are fans of him. Most women in my life are fans of his. There is definitely a special place for Shah Rukh Khan and his characters in the hearts of women. There's a line in this book where the author says that Shah Rukh Khan may not be a feminist icon, but he is definitely a female icon. Shah Rukh Khan has created a standard for romance in Hindi films. This social media moment that happened is indicative of this. When Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani was being promoted, songs were coming out in promotion of the film. This Twitter user tweeted,
"Exact second I realized this Rocky Rani song is not it is this moment when Ranveer visibly cringes back to avoid Alia's hair from hitting his face. In a true filmy romance, the hero would allow her hair to hit him, maybe even throw in a deep sniff. This is not my Bollywood."
Reference here is to the song Tum Kya Mile. It has Ranveer Singh and Alia Bhatt in this very Yash Chopra-like situation. Ranveer Singh seemingly moves back a little in reaction to Alia Bhatt flicking her hair. This moment unfortunately garnered so much attention online. People were comparing it to Shah Rukh Khan songs from the past. I think a specific one that I remember was Suraj Hua Maddam from K3G, because if you have watched Shah Rukh Khan romance songs, his depiction of love and love songs is very intimate. He essentially looks at his leading lady, a kind of adoration. Her hair, her sari, every element of her, he is fully engulfed in this romantic worship of her in these songs. While this tweet and the social media posts regarding this tweet garnered pretty negative attention online at the time, my reaction was more kind of deducing that the Shah Rukh Khan level of romance has become such a meaningful and significant standard to the Bollywood audience that any actor, unfortunately or fortunately, will be faced with this standard in the future. Anytime a new romantic Bollywood film of this kind of aesthetic is attempted, this may become the standard. Also learn that Shah Rukh Khan was not instantly seduced by Hindi films. He had a drive and ambition to be famous and successful, but initially this ambition was focused on television and later perhaps to be an action hero, but never really a romantic hero. It's clear that Shah Rukh Khan had a strong sense of self-belief and ambition. Always maintained that he didn't see himself as a leading hero, and many in the industry told him that he would never make it as a leading hero in Hindi films. Before his romantic roles, he actively chose films where he was essentially the anti-hero or the villain. Be it films like Dar or Bazigar, there was an edge to his acting that other actors were not doing at the time. In many of these roles, he actually stalked women, he was violent, and he was very manipulative. Despite being the bad guy in many of these films, it seemed that audiences nonetheless rooted for his characters. So great was his on-screen charisma. But it was on the film Dar, directed by Yash Chopra, where Shah Rukh Khan met Aditya Chopra, and a young Aditya Chopra saw the potential for Shah Rukh Khan to become the romantic hero. If you're a fan of Bollywood films, you would know that Yash Chopra is perhaps the blueprint director for the Bollywood romance as we know it. He developed a style that can be instantly recognized and is widely imitated, as Anupama Chopra describes in her book. The quintessential Yash Chopra film reveled in overblown beauty. The heroine, usually played by the leading actress of the day, was portrayed as an ethereal virginal goddess, swathed in chiffon saris. The romance, conducted in a spectacular foreign locale, usually Switzerland, was achingly pure. Yash celebrated chaste sensuality. He was a connoisseur of the rain song, in which the heroine, inevitably wearing white clothes, got wet. But sexuality rarely tainted this sunlit world. Above all, Yash propagated family values. His films were filled with rich, beautiful, noble people who struggled gallantly with social and familial obligations. A great way to understand the Yash and Aditya Chopra or the Yash Raj film universe is to watch the 2023 Netflix series The Romantics. So Aditya Chopra adopted some of his father's style, and you can see this in his first film, DDLJ or Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge. Thereafter, Karan Johar supplemented Shah Rukh Khan's emerging romantic hero persona. Karan Johar is essentially a scholar of the Yash Raj film style of filmmaking, with directing and producing films like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Kal Ho Na Ho, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham or K3G. His films truly brought Shah Rukh Khan to a kind of global icon status. Many of Karan Johar's films are fully or partly set overseas, meaning out of India, or they are injected with international themes or brands appealing to the immense audience of the Indian diaspora. Films like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Kal Ho Na Ho and K3G were fashioned to be overseas friendly films. Let's talk about the film that truly catapulted Shah Rukh Khan into this romantic hero role. This film was released in 1995 and saw Shah Rukh Khan at 30 years old playing the character of Raj Malhotra, and Kajol at 21 years old playing the character of Simran Singh. In 2023, the Maratha Mandir reportedly screened both Pathan and DDLJ at the same time. Cinema Hall, which has been screening Shah Rukh and Kajol's DDLJ ever since its release in 1995. DDLJ means The Brave-Hearted Will Take the Bride. It's a Bollywood landmark film. It has taken on a life of its own. It's a love story. It seems to be a very simple love story. Boy meets girl, but the girl is engaged to another. But the crucial difference in this Bollywood film and in this story, in comparison to other Bollywood films of this type, is that Raj and Simran do not elope. Raj convinces Simran that despite being born in England, he is an Indian at heart, and he will only get married once he wins her family's, especially her father's, approval. Bhattacharya sets it out best. Millions of young women walked out of cinema halls after watching DDLJ, desperate to find the right man. The idea was not planted by Shah Rukh. It was sown by the luminous Kajol, who played the female lead Simran. She was astonishingly beautiful yet relatable. Simran starts the film by reciting a poem for her mother, one she has written herself. She writes about her fantasies of meeting an unknown man. Shah Rukh Khan's performance as her lover Raj concretizes these fantasies. The ideal man would be a foreigner to oppressive patriarchy by believing in the freedom to love and being able to shower his beloved with unabashed affection. Paradoxically, he would also remain an ally of tradition. DDLJ is a milestone in Indian cinema, and it has become kind of a standard to which all Bollywood romantic films or love stories aspire. For instance, even a US president could attempt a quote from this film, and we know as the audience exactly which film, which scene, and which actor delivered the line.
Thank you so much for welcoming us back to India. Our last celebration here, we celebrated the Festival of Lights in Mumbai. We danced with some children. Unfortunately, we were not able to schedule any dancing this visit. Señorita, bude, desho me. You know what I mean. So,
DDLJ was not a debut movie for Shah Rukh Khan. He had already done 14 films by this time. Bhattacharya Chopra said that he wanted Shah Rukh Khan for the role because he had an edge. He wrote Raj Malhotra to be somewhat spoilt, impudent, and rude in the first half of the film. He could even come across as somewhat unlikable in the first half. But suddenly things changed. Really, a few scenes from this film that convinced the audience, and specifically women, that Raj Malhotra and in effect Shah Rukh Khan was more layered than we initially thought. First start noticing this on their trip to Europe. He starts caring about Kajol's welfare in Europe, and this scene, especially in which he speaks about the izzat of Indian women, he ultimately falls in love with her. Another scene is the one in which he tells Simran that he will not elope with her because he wants to win her family's approval. And for many women in South Asian culture, the importance of family and their approval is integral. This romantic hero wanted to do the more difficult task of trying to win over her family rather than simply eloping is a factor that plays strongly in his appeal as a romantic hero. In the book Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh, the author adds that research on working women and women's collectives tell us that familial permission plays an immeasurably important role in South Asia. What the film shows is that freedom is won through incremental negotiation, that dialogue amongst loved ones can be a path towards social change. The fact that we must invest significant effort to bargain for these freedoms is sad, but also reflect our social realities across class. Another scene is where he bonds with her family, but especially where he bonds with the women of her family. The fact that he helps in the kitchen and has relationships with the female members of her family just as much as the men is what was specific to his appeal. In Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh, a woman reportedly said to the author, "It was the first time I'd seen a hero peel a carrot in a film and spend so much time with the women of the household." As Anupama Chopra sets out in her book, in DDLJ, Raj sits in the kitchen and peels vegetables with the women of the house. When Simran does Karwa Chauth, a North Indian ritual in which women keep a day-long fast for the good health and prosperity of their husbands, he starves along with her. In his participation in these rituals and his ease in traditionally female spaces, Raj is unlike the swaggering he-man heroes of the past. He is sensitive, vulnerable, and not afraid to cry. But he also has the strength and guile to outwit the most blatantly chauvinistic men in the film. Simran's father and her boorish fiancé, Raj was the new Indian man. An interesting note that I came across while doing research for this video is that Aditya Chopra convinced Shah Rukh Khan into doing the DDLJ role of Raj Malhotra by telling him that he could never be a superstar unless he becomes every girl's fantasy lover, every sister's brother, and every mother's son. And he was right. Such a powerhouse of a Bollywood film that it changed the tourism industry of Switzerland forever. The country's official tourism websites, they have their own Switzerland DDLJ tour. You don't necessarily need to go on the official tour. There is enough information online on these shooting locations. Because of the immense tourism and interest that his films brought to Switzerland, the Swiss embassy celebrated Yash Chopra by bestowing the title of of the ambassador of interlaken on him. They also named a train after him called the Yash Chopra train and a hotel suite after him. The film concludes on a railway platform in Punjab with a very iconic scene that has come to be associated with Shah Rukh Khan himself. Sees Simran, after receiving her father's blessing, run to join Shah Rukh Khan on the train, his arm outstretched. This scene has become so iconic that it has been recreated in other films and even by Shah Rukh Khan himself. Author of Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh put this moment into words in a really funny kind of way. How magical it would be, you think, to be pulled onto the marriage express by the man of your dreams, a train ride that will transport you to bliss. After DDLJ, the slew of romantic films that followed essentially solidified Shah Rukh Khan's romantic hero status. He reached new heights in his career when he portrayed the so-called Raj Rahul type of character. He became the ultimate romantic hero. Also, we know that Aman from Kal Ho Na Ho, Veer from Veer Zara, and Zinder Raj from Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi may not have directly had the name. The standard was definitely there. The Rahul Raj character and Shah Rukh Khan himself are known for a few signature factors. First is the open sweeping arms move. Credit for this iconic Shah Rukh Khan open sweeping arms pose goes to the famed Indian choreographer Saroj Khan. Publications report that she suggested the open arm gesture to Shah Rukh Khan for the Bazigar title song, which, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it if you care, eventually became Shah Rukh Khan's signature romantic move. Shah Rukh Khan later said, "I was trying to perfect a dance step on a film set with choreographer Saroj Khan for the Bazigar song. It was the first time I realized that I cannot dance. Lazily, I just stood on my place and spread my arms, and Sarojji was like, wow." So that's how that signature step was invented. Accidentally. In the 2023 Netflix documentary The Romantics, Shah Rukh Khan revealed that Aditya Chopra, in trying to convince him to do the role of Raj in DDLJ, told him, "Your eyes have something that cannot just be wasted on action." This is the acting and charm and effect of Shah Rukh Khan himself. I'm not sure if any other actor could emote in this way or reach an audience through their eyes in this way, and this is a very specific Shah Rukh Khan kind of skill. I'm not sure that any other actor could deliver this kind of look. This may be kind of a funny inclusion, but I really think that this kind of intimate gesture that he's known for is really a genius way. He illustrates intimacy on screen while being sensual and not overtly sexual. According to Anupama Chopra in her book, Hindi films have long shielded away from kissing. All films released in India must be certified by the government-appointed Central Board of Film Certification. The act doesn't actually ban kissing. Filmmakers and reluctant actors have steered clear of forthrightly depicting sexual situations. For decades, kissing was implied by juvenile shots of birds pecking at each other or flowers brushing against each other. A woman interviewed for the Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh book shared the following with the author. "I wish they, men, would take some lessons from Shah Rukh. Have you seen how he kisses women on the necks often in his films? No other actor does that. Shah Rukh could teach these men. Instead, they learn from God knows where." These songs are an integral part of the films and the imagery of Shah Rukh Khan as the romantic hero. The author of Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh sets it out best. "Melodies are love. They encourage us to be fools in love. No rational alliance making, no proposals based on land holdings. Love is free, and these songs urge a happy romantic abandon. Music and images are a retreat from the reality of restricted life, and everyone needs a place to ignore the violence of everyday intimacies, to forget a world of petty strategies and unfulfilled promises, to sway and swoon at Shah Rukh Khan's on-screen spiritual generosity towards the women he loves." Why do women love Shah Rukh Khan? In order to really explore this and what this means, I read the book Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh, India's Lonely Young Women and the Search for Intimacy and Independence by Shrayana Bhattacharya. This book is one of the most fascinating and interesting books that I have read this year. The sentiment of women regarding Shah Rukh Khan as the ultimate romantic hero does not include his anti-hero era, where he essentially played stalkers and was violent towards women. In Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh, the author sets this out. Shah Rukh Khan isn't a feminist icon. The overwhelming power of men to dictate the commercial fate of a film will never allow that. As you probably know or will discover through the course of this book, he has stalked too many women on screen and said too many toxic things in his filmography. But when measuring screen time and dialogues of his biggest hits relative to his contemporaries, Shah Rukh Khan's films are found to have more time and space for women's words. Female characters tend to play a more equal part in his oeuvre, perhaps because establishing romantic love or familial harmony requires women to participate more than, say, in a testosterone-laden action drama or a gritty gangster story. Although even in films where he plays criminals or robots, women's words are central to the plot. And women have much to say about Shah Rukh, from Mumbai to Morocco. He isn't a feminist icon, but certainly a female one. The author in this book is an economist, and her research in this book is so easy to read and well presented. It's a book that's really specific to Indian women and the Indian economy and society, but there are certain experiences that the author really describes in relation to patriarchal structures and ongoing gender roles that is relevant to many. In essence, this book really isn't about Shah Rukh Khan, but it is a fascinating way to broach and present various topics. Some of the topics that are considered economic theories and data on women in the Indian workforce, especially minimal employment opportunities for women and unpaid labor. Sociological research in relation to the personal and professional lives of women in India. Patriarchy, control, gender roles, and inequality faced by Indian women within families, workspaces, public spaces, and contemporary romance. The female gaze in Indian cinema. So what I really found interesting in this book was that the author includes women from completely different socioeconomic backgrounds, and despite being different in so many ways, share a common love and admiration for Shah Rukh Khan. From the book, it's pretty clear that women generally appreciate his romantic characters because, first and foremost, they are so different from the men that they encounter in reality. And many stated that Shah Rukh Khan represents vulnerability and understanding. In the book, the author sets out, from interviewing Anupama Chopra, in fact, that he redefined masculinity on screen. It was such distinctive imagery. We loved it so much that we ignored the times that his characters did shitty things to women. But in his romantic films, particularly starting with DDLJ, his characters offered private moments of emotional support to women. He broke the mold with a more progressive and modern take on what makes a real man. The author also compares the modus of the three Khans of Bollywood. Aamir Khan's celebrity is composed of competence and excellent film choices, whereas Salman Khan's celebrity is kind of a brash, masculine bravado. Shah Rukh Khan was different. In his real life, with no film family background, through his film choices, he is, as set out in the book, a woman's hero. No one has the effect on women of all ages than he does. The author sums up the difference between the three Khans in this quote: "This act of male devotion, where a man will worship a woman before marriage or motherhood, is what makes each of his, Shah Rukh's, films unique. Salman protects women, Aamir teaches us, Shah Rukh sees us." A really interesting excerpt from the book is this interaction where the author interviews a woman. "So what is it about Shah Rukh?" I ask her the question. "Why him?" Response: "I think you overthink. There is no major reason. We just like him. He makes me smile. It is not that he sings songs and is rich in movies. We, meaning women, no, it is just a film. We are not that silly. But women folk like him because of the way he speaks to and treats women. I feel happy when I see that. There is love and respect. You don't see much of that amongst boys these days. Just look at the way he looks at his heroine. Be it Raj in DDLJ, who wants acceptance from Simran's family and feels comfortable in women's spaces, Rahul Raichand in K3G, who marries Anjali despite his father's approval, or Surinder in Rab Ne Bana Di Jodi, who is an ordinary man dedicated to making his wife happy. These characters represent men who are viewed through the female gaze in expressing their admiration and love of the actor and the characters that he plays. Many women use his imagery, characters in films as a way to express desire, but also possibly to address elements in their own lives that they want to change or even to understand. They want to be seen, meaning to be understood, to be respected, to be valued, and to be loved. The distance between Shah Rukh Khan, the actor, and his characters are somewhat blurred. From his interviews and tweets, he always, in his personal capacity, speaks very highly of women.
I have a huge amount of respect for women. I mean, I think naturally from my heart, from my head, from my physicality, I cannot ever think anyone to be nicer than women. I believe they're stronger. I believe they're nicer. I believe they're kinder. And I've been brought up by women all my life, whether it's my mother, my sister, my wife, my actresses, friends who've really been kind to me. I cannot but open doors for them. I cannot but offer them chairs. I cannot but be kind to them. And I think when I hear a story, somewhere down the line, every time I like a film, it has a lot to do with the fact that the woman character is very strong. I don't mind playing second fiddle to a heroine, whether it is Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. I have never had this insecurity.
Before I end the video, please tell me in the comment section your favorite Shah Rukh Khan movie and why. I'll see you in the next video.